by the Lord are natural gifts, or what we like to call God-given abilities. And the two men that doubled their talents were recognized for their achievements and given the same exact reward. So this meant that the reward was based solely on how faithful these men were, and not how big the result was.
Yeah.
All the man with one talent had to do was just make one more, and he would have received the glory of God's kingdom as well. But instead, he decided to be selfish and keep the lone talent to himself. Not only that, but when he was asked why he still had just the one, his excuse ratted himself out. He acknowledged that the Lord reaps where he does not sow. So how does hiding it in the ground validate his laziness? That's like us today being able to maybe sing beautifully, or do really good math, or be quick to interpret the scriptures, and not using that gift at all because we're afraid that we'll misuse it. So the men who went out made good use of their talents and brought even more back to glorify the Lord, made tremendous progress, and now share the joy of his kingdom, but only because of their faith and trust that they were given their talents for a reason. So now we know both power and faith lead to progress. So how about love? When one says love in reference to the Bible, we all immediately think of one verse at least. And a lot of times it's the same verse. And it's one that everyone knows, and for some people, like Maria did, which you didn't speak of on the van ride, she learned this verse, John 3:16. She learned how to say it in English, which is really awesome to see. And so you all know it. You can say it with me if you want to, but you don't have to. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Okay, so you've probably done this before, but a quick reminder, again, never hurts anybody. So close your eyes and picture this verse. Okay, put yourself in God's shoes as I read it again. And really think about it. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Now keep your eyes closed. Imagine a sin-filled world with constant violence and disobedience to laws you created for peace, and that you had to give up your only child to receive the punishment for every single crime they committed, only so they could live eternally. All right, open your eyes. Open your eyes and realize that God never had to do any of that. He wanted to, though. So put that love into your lives. So you started out with love from yourself. You loved yourself as a baby and only cared about how you felt. You make a doo-doo in your diaper. It was awesome because somebody changed it for you. Alright? And so next, you kind of felt the love of your parents, your mom and dad, and occasionally your brother and sister. And then eventually, you made friends. Friends that you could tell anything to and trust with your life. And they eventually love you too. And you had co-workers and all that. So now you have the love from your co-workers, your friends, your family members, yourself, and maybe even your pets. All piled into one big blob of love. And you can have all this and the love from everybody else in the entire universe put all together. And you know what that love gets you when you die? You trip straight to hell. Oh wait, we forgot something though. We forgot that now you have the love of our merciful God in your heart. So hell's not an option. Heaven's the only way, just because he sent his Son to die for all the wrong things you did in your life, for all the wrong things you're doing, and for all the wrong things you will do. So my friends, I'd say that kind of love leads to serious progress.
Yeah.
Okay, and some of you may ask where the progress is in our church. And it's simple. It's happening. We talked about it earlier. Look at the Bethany house. It has that beautiful looking fence instead of that old, decrepit looking one that's torn up up and you can see right through it. And our youth group, like Big A was talking about, we barely had enough funds to do one session. But before the week even started, God just started blessing, and our money started multiplying, and before we knew it, we had more than enough money to be able to do it. Because God intervened in our progress, and He gave that money to us. And our church has already almost exceeded our goal in school supplies, and nearly doubled the original goal, right? So you say, how's that progress? Well, considering that the only children's outreach we did at this church was trunks and trees and VBS, introducing new ideas on how to reach the community. Again, especially young children, that's progress no matter what it is.
That's right.
And our church as a whole is getting training, I guess you could say, 3 new ministers right now, getting 4 new deacons, new members in the congregation even today, children and babies everywhere, and one of the largest Hispanic congregations in Somerset.
That's right.
So now you tell me, can God?
Yeah, yes, it can.
Alright, so I'll end kind of with this quote to make you think about your progress and if it's for the right cause. Growth for the sake of growth is the ideology of the cancer cell. Edward